Hi, my name's Shane. I use she and her pronouns, and this is Visigoths versus Mall Goths, a one shot for the Gauntlet Community Open Gaming Weekend. I really love this game. I've had a fantastic time every time that I've played it, so I'm very excited to run it today. I'm a big fan of uh, like 90s teen stuff culture. That is kind of my era, hackers, clueless, things like that. And that's kind of the energy this game brings. So I'm really excited about it. If you're not familiar, the Gauntlet is a gaming community that plays and discusses and organizes all kinds of role playing games, especially Indian story games. And if you'd like to find out more, maybe come play a game with us, check out gauntlet-rpg.com. So we'll just go around in the order that people are on my screen, more or less, and I'll ask the players to introduce yourselves by your name and pronouns. Anything that you want to tell us about yourself, and specifically like what you're hoping to get out of today's game, or what made you sign up for this session in particular. So, David, can I get you to start?
Hi, folks. I am David. I use he, him pronouns. I mean, I've never played this game before, but I've had my eye on it for it's probably several months at minimum. I've just never been able to get into a game of it. If you can't tell by my T-shirt, the subject matter is of certain interest to me. I'm a big fan of kind of the '90s and before kind of goth punk scene, and seeing a parody of that in a very goofy queer mall drama sort of environment is it's completely up my alley. So that's what brings me here. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. I also wore my most 90s top that I could find, but it is a little bit cold, so I might not like commit to this for the whole session. Chi, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm Chihuahua Zero. You can call me Chi. I use he, him pronouns, and Visigoths versus Mall Goths has been on my two playlists for quite a while since I started using itch.io a couple years ago. Got this game through one of their big bundles, and then when I saw the listing for this game, I knew that it was a good time to jump on in and have some fun.
Awesome. And Kay.
Hi, I'm Kay. I use she, her pronouns. And two things sort of drew me to the game. One, it's a Shane game, which means I'm going to enjoy it. And then the second thing is it's also been on my radar a bit since like the 2020 PAX East, like the last con, where I had seen it at Indie Games at Demand. Had meant to play it, lost track of time, and then the world closed down, and I hadn't really had an opportunity to try it since, and saw it pop up on here, and figured now was as good a time as any.
Awesome. Okay, that's awesome. So I'm going to go through. I like to start games with a CATS procedure for concept, aim, tone, and subject matter. So feel free to jump in if you want to add anything or have any questions. Visigoths versus Morgoths concept is about the conflicts and romances between the warriors who sacked ancient Rome and 20th century spooky teenagers. The Mall Goths have accidentally summoned the Visigoths to the 1990s in a kind of Ouija board accident. And now the Visigoths have set their sights on conquering them all and perhaps even the greater Los Angeles area. The Visigoths have not forgiven the Morgoths for uprooting them through time. The Morgoths have not forgiven the Visigoths for trying to force them out of the mall. So I'm sure you realize this means war. Now, ideally, this game is played in teams of Goths, right? So if we had four, we would have two Visigoths and two Morgoths. So we don't have that, so we're going to have a slightly different setup today. We're going to have the Visigoths and Morgoths banding together against an external, well, a new threat to them all. And we'll see what sort of alliances and tensions play out within that. But we'll talk more about that a bit later. Couple of things to emphasize about this game in particular. One is like it has quite an active like adventure hook kind of thing. Like you'll get pumped out like some things to do, but it's a fully welcome and even intended mode of play for you to completely ignore those. So the adventure, in a lot of games, if you pass up the adventure hooks, the dungeon master just sits there looking at you with a confused face, wondering what to do instead. But if you just decide to go and flirt with the clerks at the mall, that's going to work just fine in this game. The other thing is, The mall has a keyed map, like a dungeon in Dungeons and Dragons. So whenever you go to a store, I'm going to have to look it up. I have not been able to memorize the key, so just expect a little bit of page flipping as I catch up with things. Aim-wise, got the game scheduled for 3 hours today. Finish up this intro, we'll talk about safety tools, make characters, and get into the game. Take a short break at the top of each hour. Play in this game is divided in what's sort of structured as a day at the mall. So it's divided into 6 sections for early and late morning, afternoon, and evening. So that's the kind of structure that we're going to be playing out. We probably won't get through a whole day in 3 hours, but we'll get a good game in. And I will try and save about 10 or 15 minutes at the end for a quick debrief. Tone-wise, at risk of stating the extremely obvious, the tone of the game tends to be absurd, campy. My reference points is that I would describe it as a cross between Hackers and Weird Science, if people know those movies. But, it's hard to be too over the top in this game. Subject matter-wise, it is described as a role-playing game and dating sim. So I'm used to giving these subject matter warnings for horror games, just like gore, body horror. So we're not really thinking about that stuff today. But just to read from the game text, it says, this game is designed to tell stories that include flirting, romance, dates, kissing, making out, and light kink, i.e. fuzzy handcuffs, a chest harness, fursuits, etc. So that's the kind of vibe that we're going with. PG, so yeah. That said, we have a set of safety tools that we're going to use for the game today. So I would love for you all to open up the character keeper in the drive if you haven't already. Let me know if you need me to link to that. And just navigate to the safety tab. This is actually the first character keeper that I made like a year ago, and I noticed that it has quite what I would now consider quite a rudimentary lines and veils page, but that's okay. So just so you know, if you're not familiar, lines are topics that aren't going to come up in the game at all. We're just not going to talk about them. A veil is a topic that might be mentioned in the game, but we're not going to focus on it in detail. We're just going to skip over it quickly or fade to black. Just give you a minute to go through and think about anything that you'd like to add to that list of lines and veils. And when you're done, just if you could type OK in the chat so that we know that we're all finished. So feel free to add things later on. Just because you didn't put it on at the start doesn't mean it can't become a line or a veil during play. The other safety tools that we're going to use are the X card. So if anything does come up in the game that's not fun for you, not comfortable, for any reason, you can just say, I'd like to X card that. You can type an X in the chat. You can make an X with your hands, whatever you want to do. And we'll just remove that content. We'll work out something else and keep going. Strongly encourage you to X card anything if you're not sure. It doesn't have to reach the point of being really intense or painful before we X card it. We can just keep going. We're trying to maintain a lighter tone, and the X card will help us do that. We're also using the open door, so if you need to leave, you are totally welcome to do that. That can mean, taking 5 minutes to go to the bathroom. It can mean just getting up and going away and not coming back. Whatever you need to do is okay. If you can let us know in the chat or verbally, why you're leaving or for how long, that's very helpful. But if you just need to go, that's okay as well. Game's also running under the Gauntlet Community Code of Conduct. I think you all will have seen that before, so I'm not going to go into it in any detail. That is my introduction to the game. So, any questions about any of that admin, or shall we move on to talking about the rules a little bit before we make characters? All right. So the rules of this game fit on one page, and we are supposed to read them out together aloud before we start play. So that's what we're going to do now. If you open up the PDF Visigoths versus Mall Goths printouts in the drive, the game rules start on page 7. And what I'd like to do is just take turns going around. So I'm going to read the first paragraph, and then we'll just rotate around the order that you're on my screen. If anyone prefers not to read aloud, that's totally fine. Just say pass when we come to you, and the next person will take that part. So the first part doesn't really apply because we only have 3 players. But I think we'll read it out anyway because it does sort of apply. So teams in the Mall Rat. There are 2 teams, Visigoths and Mall Goths. Inside the fiction, Visigoth characters and Mall Goth characters are rivals. At the table, Visigoth players and Mall Goth players are collaborative storytellers. The player with the complete guide to the mall is called the Mall Rat, and the Mall Rat facilitates the game. Okay, can I get you to read scenes, or that first bit under scenes?
Of course.
Thanks.
Scenes, time slots, and store visits. Each day is broken up into 6 time slots. Each team of Goths plays out a scene in 1 store per time slot, either 1 scene with both teams or 2 scenes with teams in separate stores. Team members must stay together as a group for store visits because teams in the mall only shop with their friends. Passing notes. Oh, do you want me to continue or no?
Yeah, go ahead. Thanks.
Passing notes. When your team is not in a scene, you may write in character notes to your teammates back and forth. This is always optional. Some things to do in... Oh, wait, okay, I think that's it. It's the
Sure.
different section.
David, do you want to do some things to do in stores?
Absolutely. So some things to do in stores include talk with your team about plans or strategies, talk to store clerks to get information, go shopping or shoplift, debate about music, fashion, religion, or other cultural matters, fight, talk about hurt feelings to heal them, and flirt, ask people on dates, or make out.
Thank you. Chi, do you want to read passageways?
Sure. You can also hang out in the passageways with other characters. Elevators, escalators, stairwells, and hallways. Visiting passageways doesn't advance the clock.
Rolling dice. Players roll dice to resolve conflicts. If there's no conflict, there's no need to roll dice. You roll off against another player, a Mall Rat controlled character, or the mall itself. Always roll 2d6 and add any relevant modifiers from your skills on your character sheet or special items. Whoever has the highest number succeeds and the other fails. Both players succeed on a tie, and the situation escalates ridiculously or dramatically. Okay, do you want to read Hurt Feelings?
Sure. Hurt feelings. Most games only track physical damage, but this game only tracks emotional damage. If your character sheet contains 2 or more hurt feelings, you are emotionally overwhelmed and can't physically fight or use embarrassing traits until you talk about your feelings with a friend.
Nice. David?
Yes, under hurt feelings from physical attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Physical attacks always hurt people's feelings, everyone's feelings. When your physical attack against an opponent is successful, you and your opponent both experience hurt feelings. Write a word describing how your character feels in the hurt feelings section of your character sheet.
Chi, do you want to do Hurt Feelings from other events?
Mm-hmm. If you believe something other than a physical attack wounded your character's feelings, feel free to add a hurt feeling to your character sheet. This rule is less strict than the rule about physical attacks. It's up to the player to judge their own character's emotions.
Healing. Each character can only heal and erase a total of 1 hurt feeling from their character sheet per scene. Okay, embarrassing traits, please.
Embarrassing traits. Embarrass yourself to make your friends seem cool in comparison. If you draw attention to your embarrassing trait, you may offer another player a +3 bonus to their roll, but you must add embarrassed to your hurt feelings. You may announce this before or after your friend's rolls, but you must announce it before the Mall Rat describes the narrative results. You must have an empty slot available in your hurt feelings to use an embarrassing trait.
Cool. And David, do you want to do kissing?
Yeah, real quick. Always ask before initiating a romantic or kissy plotline with another player's character. Yes means yes, no means no, maybe also means no.
Cool. All right, so it's time to make characters now, unless there are any questions about the rules. Basically, making a character involves choosing a type of goth. So there are 3 types of Visigoths and 3 types of Mall Goths that you can choose. Because we have 3 players, I want to avoid having 3 of one. So I want to have a mix, at least one Mall Goth and at least one Visigoth. But you probably saw in the PDF the different goth types are listed. So maybe just take a minute to have a look through those and think about what sort of goth you might want to be. How are people going? Do you want some more time to think about it? All right, I got an enthusiastic thumbs up from David. Do you have a goth in mind?
Well, I mean, I could there were like 3 different play sets from like maybe 4 that I could reliably do. I mean, I think like most people, I can probably relate a little bit more to the modern goth archetypes than the Germanic. But I am not above playing Brühilde, the bisexual powerhouse, if it comes down to it. But otherwise, I mean, the 3 that really stand out to me are Witch, Theater Tech, and maybe Conqueror.
Okay.
Maybe Runecaster. So, I mean, I'm just saying I can do whatever, basically.
All right.
I'll defer
Cool.
to other people.
All right. What about Kay? Did you have a preference?
I'm sort of back and forth, similar to David. I've got a couple I'd like to play. The one thing I would say is if I'm playing a Visigoth, I'd like to not be the only Visigoth, just because I'm a little shaky on that kind of characterization. So I'm happy to be either one of 2 Visigoths or play a Goth.
Okay. All right. Chi, do you have a preference?
So of the character types / playbooks, the 2 that I'm gravitating most towards is the Theater Tech, and the Runecaster.
Cool.
It's one of those 2.
All right. Well, I hate adjudicating this. So I think in that case, if it's all right, I suggest that Chi, you be the Runecaster, because you were the only one who really expressed an enthusiasm for a Visigoth type. David, either the Witch or the Theater, and then Kay, you can just slot in whichever works for you around those.
That works for me.
And so, like, now that you've chosen the type, it should be pretty straightforward to fill out the character keeper. Pick whichever column you want. You'll see there's a bunch of pick lists that you choose from. You'll get 3 skills from your playbook. 2 of those start at +2, and 1 of them starts at +3. That's your choice, which one you're slightly better at. And basically just work down until you get to embarrassing traits in the column, and stop there, because that's something that we'll do together.
Out of curiosity, David, are you going witch or are you going theater tech?
Okay, so we can take it one of two ways. My two character concepts were, if I was going to go witch, I was basically just going to be someone from the craft, and just be like obnoxiously like pseudo pagan, like I claim to be Wiccan, but there is like nothing actually like that aligns with actual Wicca at all. The advantage there is that if we have a rune caster, they can call me a poser, because I'm not doing real paganism like they are. The alternative is we could go theater tech, in which case I would be basically the nerd goth. I would always be referencing the Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle I'm running at home, and I would probably have some kind of weird interest in Japanese shibari, which is like rope bondage.
I want to see
have
your
that going
theater
on.
tech.
Okay, we'll do that then.
I like the
Just
sound of that.
I need to hear about this VTM game more than anything in this world right now. The rest of the game, who cares? I want to know about this VTM game.
Cool, we'll do that then.
Okay, then I want to be the witch, or do I want to be the cyber pet?
So many choices.
Yeah.
So I'm giving my character male and helmet as his look.
Nice.
And I'm imagining that is overly big. As if he stole it from someone and never bothered to get something more his fit.
Is that your character, Kay?
Yes, I think that is the visual inspiration I'm going for.
Nice.
So, yeah, sort of a rave punk style goth. Although the nails should be painted, and the fact that they are not a criminal sin in this.
Kay, I can't see you on the character keeper at all.
Oh, wow, I've been writing on an untitled document like a silly person.
That's okay. If you have all your details, then we are ready to
I
keep
do.
going, yes.
And I will
Okay.
slowly transfer them onto here because
That's-
I'm silly.
No worries, that's fine. All right, is everyone else ready to do character intros?
Yes.
All right, so let's go right to left. Wait, which column are you going to be in, Kay?
I'm going to be on the left. In
Okay,
the first
so
one.
yeah, let's go right to left so you have some time to fill that out. So, Chi, can you start by telling us about Vermundo, if I've pronounced that right?
Honestly, I have no idea. I just chose the name that I like better. So, Vermundo, he's a runecaster. Wears pronouns are he, him. He wears a male helmet. As I mentioned before, I imagine this helmet being way too big for his head to point that covers his face. He's a Christian heretic, and in the sense that he'll probably mix traditions. Does he grow? Maybe just a little. He has a particular expertise for making himself invisible, and once per day without rolling, he can carve runic graffiti on the store wall, and no one will see you shoplifting from that store.
Amazing. Thank you. David, tell us about Cody.
Yeah, so my birth name is Cody Shelton, but that's not really at all dark enough, so everyone refers to me by my chosen name, Adrian Black. I am a theater tech style of Mall Goth. In particular, vampire is my look. And so I kind of stalk around talking about tabletop role-playing games and trying to insert my love of all things Anne Rice and vampiric into conversations. I promise the character is not a self-insert. Religion-wise, they are Unitarian Universalist. They're not really that religious, but like they were just kind of brought up in that particular religious organization, and at all the retreats they went to, it was just a bunch of teens making out, and so they kind of stuck with it. My skills involve costuming, pyrotechnics, and rigging. My highest of them is costumes, and I have the ability to make clothing items out of duct tape. So, I mean, the classic duct tape wallet is just the beginning for me. Embarrassing traits include my...
hold off on
yeah.
your embarrassing traits for now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, we'll pause there.
Sorry. That's great. I just have to say that is one of the finest character pictures that I've seen in any game. Amazing. Okay, can I get you to introduce Herbert /Cerberus?
Yeah, so this is Herbert Goldenblot, or as his mother calls him, Herbie. But he prefers to go by Cerberus because that is who he feels he is. And yeah, he is a cyber pet. His look is kind of a sort of rave punk goth. He's identifies as Jewish. His skills are bite, hack electronics, and play dead. He had, you know what, I'm going to switch that. He is a +2 and a +2 in play dead and bite, but is a +3 in hack electronics. And once per day without rolling, he can put on cute animal ears for an instant half-price discount at any store.
All right. So, embarrassing traits you're actually going to give to each other. So the way this works is we're going to go around. You'll need to choose the embarrassing trait that you're giving someone from their column in the Keeper, because like Visigoths and Mall Goths have different lists. So you'll need to pick from theirs. And the way it's going to work is we'll just go left to right across the Keeper. You propose an embarrassing trait for the person in the column to your right. They can accept it. If they don't like it, they can reject it. But if you reject it, you have to choose 2 for yourself. Does that make sense? So you can take the 1 that someone gives you, or you can take 2 that you choose for yourself. So can we start with Kay? Do you want to give Adrian Black an embarrassing trait?
Yeah, I'll give Adrian Black bad taste in music.
Yeah, that'll play. So I just keep that and I don't have a second one?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
I mean, if you really want more embarrassing traits, I guess you're allowed to have them.
No, I
generally-
think that's reasonable.
All right. And David, do you want to give Vamundo an embarrassing trait?
Sure. Let me see what the options kind of are here. These are so goofy. Okay, so we have I've got a couple of ideas here. So for let's see. So for Vermundo, I'm thinking I kind of like it because you're already going with Christian heretic for your religion. I kind of want Wish You Were Roman to be part of it too. Like you just have this remarkably like strange affinity for like the Pope and all things Catholic, which is very in opposition to your upbringing. I don't know, that would just be fun.
I like that.
You take
Just
it?
like the most Catholic barbarian we've ever seen.
Pick Latin.
Nice. All right, and Chi, do you want to give Cerberus an embarrassing trait?
Sure. So of the Mall Goth ones, maybe I like the overprotective parents one.
I think that's a very good one.
All right. What is Cerberus's mother's name? Did we cover that?
I think her name is Ruth, and she is a traditional Jewish mother. And she likes cooking and making sure her child is going to an Ivy League school. And everything is about guilt. And why don't you listen to me? And yeah, she's very much on him, despite that he's like a very good student, which is kind of why he sort of went goth and rebellious in a sense, or as rebellious as you can, growing up in like a wealthy Jewish family where you like, or, you know, spend your parents' money to buy like ridiculous leather outfits that cost hundreds of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Ruth Goldenblatt is very concerned about her Herbie and the way he's been dressing and the makeup he's been wearing. Not that she judges, she doesn't judge, but she's just concerned.
Amazing. I've just noticed that the picture that your character portraits across that like row in the Keeper paint. Quite an amazing selection. Thank you all. So the next part of character creation is relationships. So I don't have cool drop-down menus for these. You're going to have to refer back to the PDF. But basically, you're just going to choose, each character type in that PDF at the bottom of the page has a set of starting relationships. Each of you is going to choose one of those for each of the other characters. And you just fill it out by, you put one of the other characters' names in it, and you add some sort of fictional content as well. So If we just go left to right across the keeper, Kay, could I get you to start?
Yeah, sure. I wish I could be Adrian's pet because they're so suave and know all the dark and sinister things of the world that I can't wait to learn.
Amazing. That's awesome. So let's just do like one at a time and then we'll come back around for a second round. Adrian, do you want to create a first relationship?
Yeah. So I mean, if we if we're doing Cerberus having a crush on Adrian, we gotta love triangle this thing. So I'm gonna do my crush on Vermundo weirds me out because I don't know. I don't want to bring religion too much into it if that's a sensitive topic for people, but they're like they actually believe in God. Like, yeah, because I feel like I've kind of got like the edgy like teen atheist thing going on a little bit. So like, wait, you actually believe in that? Like, I feel like that's sort of the route I want to take with it. But like they're really cute, and I mean that is easily the best Vampire Dark Ages cosplay I've ever seen. So I mean, no, I'm into it.
Amazing. And Vermundo, do you want to do your first relationship?
Sure. If we're going for the love triangle, let's might as well wrap this back around and say that my crush on Cerberus. Where's he out?
This is so tragic already.
Because I don't even like animals.
Amazing, thank you.
As in, not to a point of the other embarrassing trait where I fear animals, but dogs, cats. So why in the world do I find this very attractive?
Whoa. Not a furry, anthropomorphizer. We are different. God, I can educate you, huh?
Okay, educate the barbarian.
All right, Cerberus, what will your second relationship be?
So I have a question because this will impact my choice. Does everyone have an email?
America Online is a thing. Your characters in some of the adventures in the book, you all have email, so I think you can assume that they do.
Okay, I just want to check because he is one of our Visigoths, so I don't know if he's acquired that technology yet.
Look, he might not be good at it, but he has it.
Okay, so I think that I hacked into Ramon's email and found out that an antiquities shop in this store has set the value and let them know of their helmet as over $10 million.
Oh my God.
It is so genuine and in pristine condition that collectors all over the world would lose their shit and museums.
Wow. Vermundo, do you know about this yet?
Have you read this email?
I assume that A is in my inbox unread, and B, even at the moment, I wouldn't care that much because what is even this dollar thing?
Yeah, what do you want that you can't just seize through force?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. Adrian Black, what is your second relationship?
So I have kind of two options here. I mean, one of them involves Cerberus still being mad at me, but I don't know if that makes sense because they also have a crush on me.
We're teenagers.
Yeah, I think that's extremely possible.
No, that's fair. That's fair because I was thinking something along the lines of like, because Cerberus is let me see. Yeah, like they're a bit techie, it sounds like, if you're going with. So I was thinking maybe you're still mad at me because I accidentally set fire to your Dreamcast. Or your I'm trying to think of what other systems there were that were kind of more obscure, like your Sega Saturn or something like that. But otherwise, I would say maybe I once helped Cerberus dress up in a disguise. The problem is I can't think of why. That would make the most sense because costumes is my high stat.
Yeah.
But
I think maybe you helped me dress up in disguise because maybe we went to our first VTM LARP and my mother showed up because I was late for a piano recital that she wanted me to like attend instead, but I had no interest in. And so you helped like disguise me so that she couldn't find me.
Got it. Oh, and maybe there's a kind of a little bit of embarrassment to it because maybe the only thing that I had available to dress you up in was like the most god-awful gothic Lolita outfit you've ever seen, and it was positively humiliating or something like that, maybe?
Yeah, I think it seemed like it might be humiliating, but then Cerberus is caught between, do I actually like this?
Oh no, I'm actually kind of into it.
Am I actually into this? That's even more teenage mortification of, am I into this?
Oh no, we all learned something about ourselves that day. Okay, I'll put something to that effect down.
Alright, awesome. And Vermundo, what's your last relationship?
Since I want to use one of the Runecaster specific prompts, I would say once when I was invisible, I saw the one that's left is
Adrian Black.
I saw Adrian Black in the middle of it. In the middle of secretly. So wait, what bad taste of music do you have again?
I've been wondering about that myself. My first, I was thinking of like, what is the least goth stuff that you could still kind of try to justify? And I thought maybe he is like weirdly into like Limp Bizkit or some kind of like terrible new metal. But otherwise, I'm just kind of thinking of other stuff that's sort of stereotypically considered bad. He could be into Aqua if Barbie Girl has come out. He could be into like Hanson. Trying to think of what else there might be. It's very late 90s
music, yeah.
Yeah, it's really late 90s, but like Smash Mouth is sort of a classic, like a cringy bad band. Blur, that would be one that would lose you a ton of goth cred. Well, alternatively, I mean, this one's a little bit more like subculturally niche, but maybe he could be actually like into metal because we don't associate with metalheads. Okay, it's a different type of thing, and people keep confusing us for them. You could do that.
He really likes metal music.
What was that, Kay?
Oh, I was just laughing. They don't confuse us with that, but then he still really likes metal music. It's just very cute and niche.
Right. So, I'm sorry, I got off in my own head. Chi, what was the question?
So basically, what's your bad taste in music that Fermundo overheard?
Okay, so you overheard me listening to some kind of like just terrible music. I am going to say it was I'm overthinking this. We're just gonna go with the first thing I said and say it was Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit.
If everyone knows that group.
Yes. Let me just look up how to spell their name again. Ew. Definitely would lose you some cred.
All right, so that's characters ready to go, ready to start the game. Let's get in our early morning scene and then we'll take our first break. So, the three of you have found yourselves together in the food court in the early morning at the mall. Vermundo, you probably wouldn't normally hang around with these guys, but the other Visigoths just sort of haven't turned up today. So the three of you are going to be hanging out. Maybe that's like, I mean, I guess you're like pretty happy about that because your crush is here with you now. But we'll see how that plays out. It's actually a very big day in the mall. It is October 30th. That's not why it makes it so big. What makes it so big is that the mall actually burnt down a month ago and is just now reopening. So on the night of October 1st, fire raged through the mall, devastating many of its most beloved stores, including St. Sebastian's Catholic Gifts and Totally Random. Both those stores still recovering from the losses incurred by the fire. In the meantime, some new kids have arrived in town. Neither Mall Goth nor Visigoth, this new crew, who call themselves metalheads and listen to ridiculously heavy music, have begun, like you can see even now, they are staking out their own territory at the mall already. It's barely had a chance to reopen. So, question for the Mall Goths. Do these new kids scare you, or do you think they're just trying, like, way too hard?
I would say they're trying way too hard, but honestly, any one of them could kick my ass, so I'm actually a little bit intimidated.
Yeah. I mean, they're really into the devil. Somebody said they saw one of them drinking pig's blood out of a slushy cup. Pretty full on.
I think Cerberus is scared of them, but for entirely different reasons, which is he recognizes several of them. And like they know about Cerberus pre-Cerberus, when he was Herbert or Herbie or something like that. And like some of them like attend the same temple or their families do. And he's sort of done his best to try and like separate himself from being like, because I think before he like embraced the goth lifestyle, he was very much like a teacher's pet, listen to parent, try hard. And now that's everything he doesn't want to be in his rebellion, and he doesn't want anyone like knowing that's who he was.
Yeah, that's awesome. Vermundo, like, do you think these new kids are posers, or are they potentially more like your modern day counterparts or even descendants? They do seem to listen to a lot of like Viking music.
In my view, they look like Mall Goths to me because all modern people seem the same to me.
Yeah, like those bone necklaces aren't even really bone.
So I'm just here wondering why those two Mall Goths over there are acting so weird about these newcomers, even though aren't you all a part of the same tribe?
Yeah. So it is, like I said, it's exciting to you all that the mall has reopened today, but you've all heard rumors that the fire was not an accident and that someone is going to try and burn it down again. And you've seen the security guards around here. Obviously, they're not going to put a stop to it. If anyone's going to save the mall, it's going to have to be the three of you. What will you do?
Okay, it's definitely the metalheads that are gonna burn this mall down. I mean, have you guys ever heard of Mayhem or Varg or any of those people? They burn churches, okay? And if this place has a Catholic gift store in it, that's the first thing that's gonna get targeted.
Wasn't that the place that like burned down the most, or like was the starting point? They said.
I mean, St. Sebastian's Catholic Gifts definitely like took a beating in the fire, you could go ask them about whether it was where the fire started, or they might be able to tell you some more.
So, like, if they got hit the most, and you're saying these metalheads, like, hate whatever Christian stuff, then yeah, that seems likely. But like, you always have like great intuition on this stuff, Adrian.
I mean, it's gotta be. I mean, we don't do that. I mean, we wouldn't actually like burn someone's property. Like, I mean, I guess we make sacrifices, but that's different. Okay, that's our stuff we're burning. We wouldn't burn other people's stuff.
Yeah, and we do that like properly in nature, where it can like the ash can like replenish the woods or whatever. Not like in a mall.
Right.
And
So
then
I mean.
And then I pipe up saying, we once did a funeral with some fire. And then look out to a distance at if I'm remembering a Viking funeral.
I mean, I know a thing or two about pyrotechnics, so maybe if we go scope out this Catholic place or whatever. Oh God, I don't want to go in there, but I don't know. Maybe I could pick up like a crucifix. I've got a Cappadocian that I'm playing in a LARP soon, so maybe I could do that.
Cool. Yeah, you're doing another LARP. I'd love to hear about that.
Oh my God, I have to tell you all about it. It's gonna be set like at the very beginning of the Gangrel like disembarkation from the Camarilla. It's insane. No, it's gonna, and I just will start talking at length, and someone else is gonna have to like pull me away to actually make this game happen.
Well, Vermundo, I mean, you can kind of tell that Cerberus is flirting, like trying to flirt with Adrian a little bit. Are you just going to let that happen, or what are you going to do?
For me, I'm itching to go to the store because A, I go to this Catholic gift store all the time, at least before the fire, and B, I want to say hi to the people there because it's been a while.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Well,
seeing and pushing
sorry.
these two Mall Goths to go there perhaps would put the kibosh on whatever conversation they're having.
Cool. All right. Well, I reckon we'll take a short break here and we'll come back to St. Sebastian's gifts. So I'm going to make coffee. Let's take 10 minutes and we'll come back about 7 minutes past the hour. Cool.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Cool. So you have all wandered around the mall. I do just want to point out here that there are some mall maps in the handouts PDF that you can check out. It might help you to think about where you want to go next. There's like 2 separate maps that have slightly different stores listed on them, so you might want to have a look at both. But you arrive at St. Sebastian's Catholic Gifts. It looks mostly back together after the fire. Some objects, I guess, are still discounted. There's some smoke damage to some of the, I don't know. I'm not really sure what you buy at Catholic Gifts. Some of the prayer cards have some smoke damage on them. Some of the crucifixes are a little singed at the edges, things like that. Benedict is working here. He is a 16-year-old boy. He wears pleated khakis and sweater vests. He is happy to see you, Vermundo. He gives you a little wave as he talks to a customer. What do you want to do?
Okay, so one of us probably needs to talk to Benedict and see if they can figure out any clues as to when and how this fire is going to go down. I mean, if it's going to go down, it's probably going to go down the same way the last one did, so they probably know some things about at least how the last one did that we can use. As for me, I'm shoplifting a crucifix and a rosary, and I am shoplifting it. I am not giving money to the church.
I think like Cerberus isn't even in the store. He's like sort of straddling the line, like looking in, because he's not entirely sure if he's allowed in here.
Yeah. Vermundo, are you going to let Adrian shoplift from the Catholic store?
I think I don't notice because I'm too preoccupied in approaching Benedict. and giving him my hearty hello.
All right. Well, Benedict returns your hearty hello in his somewhat more like, demure style. He says, "Oh, Vermundo, it's wonderful to see you again. It's been such a hard, 3.5 weeks since the mall had to close? Almost 4. How have you been?"
Wonderful. Although I miss the shopping here, and it seems like my fellow Visigoths seem to not be here. Not sure why. Maybe they didn't know it was reopening yet.
Well, I mean, some of the Visigoths are clerks at the mall, and I know that some of them are here today. I'm sure I saw a Vorik down at Tiny Jotun's. So there's some of your fellows are around.
Oh, euphoric. I'll definitely pay him a visit.
Lovely.
So Benedict, I put my elbow on the counter, perhaps a little too close to merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some rumors about why the fire broke out.
Rumors.
Oh no, nothing that make you seem unseemly. Nothing like that. Rather, there's some talks about perhaps there being a second attack upon your property.
Oh my! I mean, surely not. Why would anyone want to? I can't.
I don't know either. All you modern people confound me.
So
But
I don't know. Maybe because the Christians, or like some Christians, spread like false stuff about how like the Jews killed Jesus. You just like hear this like shout through like the store. Also, I don't think I'm allowed in there because I'm Jewish, and you think I killed Jesus, but we didn't. He was our hero.
I was gonna say, Cerberus, are your parents cool with you even like being within like a 36-foot radius of this store or whatever?
I mean, they're not here.
That's fair.
Say, Herbert, is that you?
Can't wait. My name is Cerberus.
Cerberus, we have some wonderful pamphlets about Judaism if you'd like to have a read. Just a really different perspective than I think you probably would have had before.
And I think he like steps in, and like there's a moment where he waits to burst into flame. And then when it doesn't happen, he like takes several steps in and is like, I'm not like interested or whatever, but we think this place is where the fire started. Did it start or not?
So Benedict looks back and forward between, well, I guess all three of you looks very confused. I really don't know where the fire started. I don't think I could. But Cerberus, you hear like somebody clearing their throat, like in the sense that they're like trying to get your attention, and the noise is the voice, the throat clearing is coming from the confessional booth that they have in this store. I mean, even with your indifference to this store, have surely heard that some believe that the priest who attends the confessional here is a ghost. Nobody has ever seen him enter or leave the confessional booth, but he may just, he may just work long hours. Who can say?
Benedict, do you know if like your store has its security hooked up to its monitoring computers?
I suppose.
Cool, I'll deal with that after. I'm gonna go talk to the ghost. And then he like flounces over towards the confessional booth, and he's like, I'm pretty sure I'm violating everything my parents believe in. And then there's like this ecstatic breath as he thinks he's doing that. And he's like, huh, that's great. And then steps into the confessional booth.
All right. So I just want to see how Adrian's attempts to shoplift from the store are going to play out. So do you have any relevant skills that you can roll to shoplift?
Relevant skills? I mean, Frankly, probably not. I was gonna say though that I had an idea. Like while this was all going on, I thought maybe we could lay a trap for any arsonist metalheads, basically by kind of arranging things or setting things up in such a way that this would be a really clear target for arson. Like, look at all these flammable books that are positioned towards the corner of the room opposite the fire extinguisher. That way, it's a win-win. Either they try to burn the place down and we catch them, or we fail to catch them and the Catholic store burns down. Either way is a win in my book. So I was thinking of maybe getting like a kind of like, I don't know, it's not like I'm going to be like going around splashing kerosene necessarily, but like I might like, pull open an outlet and just have some electrical wires just kind of exposed or something like that.
All right. So I think that you can roll to like, well, let's see. So you presumably want to do this without Benedict noticing, right?
Correct.
All right. So yeah, so I think that the role really is to see whether Benedict notices you in time to stop you. So you're welcome to use your pyrotechnic skill.
Okay.
Seems to apply. I'm going to roll my 2d6 first for Benedict, which will be unmodified, and then you can roll your 2d6 plus 2.
Okay. Oh, I don't think I have a link to the dice roller.
Sure, I'll post it right now.
I think the StreamYard link accidentally got copied in twice in the email.
That is a classic Shane mistake. Well, I've managed to roll a 4, so I don't know that it's possible for you not to succeed here. But go ahead and roll.
Cool. So we're gonna do 2d6 plus 2. Oh yeah, I don't know that I can lose against.
No, but we could
that.
tie.
Okay.
Oh,
So that's a 7.
you gave it a good try though.
Yeah.
All right, a 7. So you absolutely. So you're what? You're like piling the like most flammable looking books around some exposed wiring, little piles of kindling, things like that.
Yeah, like I'm just gonna sort of, exactly. Like put some kind of book. The way that people will do the thing in bookstores where they'll like take a book and flip through it, but they will not put it back where it's supposed to go. Like I'm basically putting a whole bunch of books next to an outlet that I've pried open, and I've just kind of like fished out some of the wiring, so it's all just kind of sitting there. And it, I mean, if there was a spark there, then there would be. I love it. So, there's some incense, so that's flammable too.
Incense.
Yeah.
Have you let the others know that this is what you're going to be doing? Or
I will when we leave.
Okay. So as long as nobody's currently sitting on like a large pot of gasoline or something, then everything's okay, I guess.
Yeah, but like it'll be really apparent to anyone who's looking for a place to like start a fire. It's like almost too perfect of a setup.
All right. So Vermundo, you can like tell what Adrian's doing, and you need to keep Benedict like distracted for a few moments while he gets away with it. What do you do, or what do you say?
So I think Vermundo also finds Benedict rather fine, not just because he's Catholic, but also he's quite different. So I think Vermundo will start hitting on Benedict at the desk.
What does that look like?
So, what do you do when you're not at the mall? Blink, blink.
Oh, well, I go to Bible study group. I go to church. I go to prayer group. Pretty active social life, really. Latin club. What about you? Do you want to come to prayer group sometime? Do you read the Bible in your religion?
Oh, I am trying, although all this writing seems to... It's all rather hard. But I would definitely be interested if you were teach me. and then I run a hand across one of the Bibles at the desk. Well,
You
at the
stroke the Bible, amazing.
which I imagine to be rather close to Benedict's hands.
Benedict like visibly tenses up. He's like such a nervous, kind of uptight guy. But why don't you go ahead and just roll to flirt with him and see if he will reciprocate or respond. So if you have I don't think any of your skills are going to apply here. You can try making a case for one. So just a 2d6 roll versus his 2d6 roll.
2d6 flat, and then dun, dun, dun.
All right, 7. Let's see how Benedict does. Oh, it's a tie. On a tie, you both succeed and the situation escalates dramatically. So let's see. Well, let's come back to you in a sec, actually. Cerberus, you have stepped inside the confessional booth. There is, a little grill in the wooden partition that separates you from the priest's chamber. What do you say?
Oh God! Let me know if this is too far because this is the terrible first thought. So like, since they're like separated between a grate, do people use this place as like a glory hole after hours? Are you a ghost? And are you a ghost?
I think the possibly ghostly priest is quite taken aback by this introduction. As the traditional approach is to ask for forgiveness. Have you perhaps not confessed your sins before?
I'm a Jew.
Well, I'm sure we have a lot to discuss. Would you like to lighten your spirits?
I kind of want to actually be heavy with dark spirits. That's sort of the vibe I'm going for.
My child, do you not want the Lord's forgiveness?
Well, like, I've never met him, so I don't think I've offended him. And even if I did, fuck whoever's offended by me, I'm cool the way I am.
I sense a real spiritual gulf beneath your brash exterior.
My family only golfs on Thursdays.
My child, when you are ready to confess, I will be ready to receive you. For now, I think you'll find more of what you're seeking at Hail Satin.
Oh wait. Is this like the AMA boards online where people talk? Okay, I confess that I really think the Shibari thing that Adrian's been talking about is super cool, but I'd like to know more about it.
Shibari?
Can you teach me about that? Do you know things? You're a ghost. Have you been around a while?
I'm sorry, Shibari. I don't think I'm familiar. Is that one of the new stores in the food court?
No. So like apparently it's when you take ropes and it's like from Japan and you tie another person up. And I think I might like that because I really like when like I wear a collar. Like I'm wearing one right now. And he like leans up against a thing and like pulls down like his shirt a bit. Like he's like wearing like a D-ring black collar.
So outside the confessional booth, all of you are interrupted by the sound of a wailing priest. Vermundo, as you stroke the Bible by Benedict's hands, you notice that his attention is now, like, you lock eyes for a moment, and you see he, like, nervously and just very slightly reaches his hand forward towards yours, responding to the gentle movement. But then his eyes, like, stop. He sees something behind you. And Adrian, you'll also see that Where are we? That Den Glanzig of the Metalheads has arrived in the store with his mesh shirt exposing his enormous pectoral muscles, his giant biceps, his long, straight black hair. And behind you, he just pokes Vermundo in the back of the shoulder and says, "Hey, I hear you've been talking about us." His name is Den Glanzig.
Okay.
Adrian, you also see this. Cerberus, you probably... Yes, that's right. You hear this from the confessional booth. The priest is still trying to compose himself.
So, first impression or first thought, oh no, he's hot. Second thought, I say out loud, perhaps too foolishly, oh, why wouldn't we, newcomer?
Adrian, what are you doing?
I think at this point, I mean, I'm just gonna shoplift my stuff. It's gonna be just like a crucifix necklace and a rosary, and if I mean, I don't know if they would stock these, but I'm kind of hungry, so if they have any like boxes of communion wafers, I was just gonna eat those like straight out of it.
So Benedict is going to very nervously say, like, Mr. Glanzig, you know you're banned from the store since you got into a fight last time. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. And sort of shrinks back. Cerberus, are you continuing to interrogate the priest about Shibari, or are you...
I think at this point Cerberus is getting out because the priest's gotten boring. He hasn't said anything about being a ghost. Sins sound fun, but why am I going to tell you about them? You're an old man. And so, yeah, I think he's like getting out and is looking over and kind of going over to what's going on.
All right. So, Adrian, I'm going to get you to roll to see if you successfully shoplift your stuff. I think that will just be a straight 2d6 versus 2d6.
Probably just a flat roll. Yeah, okay.
So the others can remember, you can always offer to embarrass yourself to give plus 3 to somebody's roll.
I've got a 6, just so everyone knows.
4. I consistently roll very badly in this game. I don't know why that is. I don't get to roll that often when I'm running games, but this one just doesn't work for me.
Honestly, this weekend, Dice Roller's been mean. In every single game I played, Dice Roller is like not having it.
All right, so you've like stuffed all of those items down the front of your pants or something. I think that
specifically,
Dan Glanzig will look like meanly down at Vermundo because obviously he towers above you a little. I'll say, I'm going to keep my eye on you.
Hey.
You watch out! And
hey.
Sort of like buffly start to strut backwards.
Hey. And I think Cerberus sort of starts coming forward and it's almost like an attack dog fashion as he like gets up into Cerberus's space and he's like, that's our Visigoth. At least for today. You don't fuck with him unless you want to fuck with all of us. And then I want to lean down and bite him.
Benedict is gesturing aggressively towards the no swearing in the Catholic store sign as you say this. But
priorities.
Go ahead and roll to bite.
I'm going to bite him on his pecs that he's just leaving exposed.
He might be into that kind of thing. I mean, we got to be cautious now.
We'll see, depending on
Oh, it's a tie! Another tie. All right. So things escalate ridiculously.
Heed my warning.
All right. So physical attacks always hurt everyone's feelings. So we both must mark a hurt feeling. So just write a word, Cerberus, on your character sheet expressing your hurt feelings as a result of this conflict. But since things also escalate dramatically, I think you're right. Like, Den's eyes light up with little love hearts. He's never had someone so directly, gnaw on his tender pectoral muscles before. And he's into it.
Oh no, you succeeded too well.
I think Cerberus like pulls back and there's like a bit of blood on their mouth. And he's like, "No, get out and stay out."
Well, I'm going to keep my eye on you too.
Whatever.
Slinks away sadly. Yeah.
I think if I may, I'd like to kind of push past him. I'm also leaving the store, but I'll kind of mutter loud enough that he can hear, "God, someone should burn that place down."
Oh.
Like, it's really suspicious, but I'm just going to say it out loud.
All right.
I follow.
Cerberus is caught because he wants to follow Adrian, but he should do a thing. And he's like, fucking. And then, like, he's going to just push past Benedict behind the counter and just get onto their computers because he wants to see if he can go back to the footage of, like, right before when the fire supposedly started.
Great plan. Yeah, go ahead and roll to hack electronics.
Yeah. Woo! 12.
Oh, well, I don't see myself beating that, but let's have a go. 3. So really not beating that. All right. So you successfully hack in. Are you going to watch the footage now, or are you like taking the videotape? Like, what's happening?
I think since Adrian and Vermundo left, I'm going to take the videotape. And then I'm going to look at Benedict and I'm going to be like, I'm going to flick him in the forehead and be like, "Benedict, stop being such a wiener. Don't you dare call me Herbert again.
Oh.
No, don't call me Herbie. Okay? Or next time you need help for that Latin exam, I'm going to let you fail. And don't tell people I passed good grades or else. And also, your ghost is dumb. Doesn't know what shibari is." And then I run out of the store.
All right. He just continues to open and close his mouth in surprise and confusion behind you. So, you have a videotape that may have some evidence on it. You have the mall at your disposal. What do you want to do as we head into the early afternoon?
Well, first of all, I want to mention to my new Mall Goth friend that I overheard Benedict mention something about this Den guy getting into a fight before the fire. Because I believe that is very pertinent information.
He got into a fight with who?
I don't know. All I know is that Benedict's that he's no longer allowed in the store because he got in a fight. Right before the fire.
God, he's such a meathead, and I'll like take a drag off of a clove cigarette and try not to cough everywhere.
So,
And I think, oh, sorry. I was going to say, I think at that moment is where Cerberus maybe catches up with them.
and I think that... Go ahead.
No, you go.
Sorry. Well, I was just going to say, if you want somewhere to play a video, I think the places... Oh, yeah. Well, go ahead then.
Okay, yeah, okay, that's her. So Cerberus like sighs and he's like, "You guys keep losing me, which isn't cool, here." And he's gonna like clip the leash onto the collar and not so subtly place it in Adrian's hand in a flirtatious manner.
Do you want to roll to flirt with Adrian?
Yes.
Is that, yeah, okay.
I think so.
Well, wait, sorry, I think we don't roll to flirt in this game with others.
Oh, okay.
I think that is just right.
Okay, yeah, so then he hands that sort of suggestively, but then he'll slip out the video and be like, "You hold that so you don't lose me." Because sometimes I like get away. But this is videotape of like the Jesus store right before the fire. We could go to Dracula's and watch it.
Yeah, and I think I'll affirm that plan. Is that cool with you, Vermundo? Just heading over to Dracula's to get the tape going?
I don't know how videotapes work, but if that how videotapes works, sure.
I think as we're going over there, I'll at least say to Cerberus, sort of like not really intending to be flirtatious, but like it kind of accidentally is going that way. I'll be sort of like, I saw the way you like bit that guy. Dude, I had a Toreador in a game that I played in one time who did that exact same move. It was actually one of the coolest parts of that entire session.
Yeah, that's great. Maybe like I could be like your Toreador or something in the next game. Maybe you could like show it to me sometime or something.
I mean, it's better than you fraternizing with the enemy. I mean, we don't deal with people like him.
I wasn't like fraternizing. No, I was just getting him off like Vermundo's thing, like how like your gangrel defended that like other Bruta or whatever when like that werewolf or whatever happened.
Okay, I'm sorry. I quit listening after you said you were getting him off. And I
listen to issues like I want to die.
Well, now I have the awkward thing where I'm not into Cerberus, but at the same time I get super jealous if Cerberus ends up being into someone else, and so it's like that's kind of the thing that's playing out here.
Vermundo, do you do anything about this blatant flirtation?
I think it still flies over my head, but a little less so. So I'll be keeping an eye on Adrian.
And so as you head towards Dracula Video, I feel like we get a series of like shots of Den in the background, like lurking and watching you all, watching the three of you. Sometimes hidden behind a little plant, sometimes, coming down the other escalator as you go up. Just all these kind of shots as he does keep his promise to keep an eye on you. But as you reach the top of the escalator, you are abruptly stopped by a woman who you all know very well. She is the mall boss, and she is looking at the three of you very suspiciously with her arms folded across her chest. She has a lot of freckles. She has kind of curly, tight, browny red hair. She says, "I've heard rumors that there is going to be more trouble in my mall today, and I know who the troublemakers here are. When I see one of you," and she gestures at Vermundo, "with two of you," and she gestures at Cerberus and Adrian, "I don't need to ask myself where the trouble is going to come from. What are the three of you up to?"
Well, right now I'm being walked on a leash.
Well, that is also inappropriate. But that's not what I'm asking you about. Save it for the debate club, Herbert.
Don't call me Herbert just because you're friends with my older sister Denise. My name is Cerberus.
We are not causing trouble here. We have called a truce.
She narrows her eyes suspiciously. Why?
Because, like, the mall is our turf, and like you said, if something bad's happening, we don't want it to happen.
Do you know something? Do you know something I should know?
No, but something bad did happen, and we're keeping an eye on it. Why? Do you know something we don't know?
Well, I know, for example, that your friend's helmet is too large for his little head.
Now, that is uncalled for. I adjust my helmet.
I mean, we do have stores in the mall where you could get a more suitably sized helmet.
No, dude, that helmet, that helmet's freaking awesome, man. How much did you even pay for that thing?
I stole it from the head of my enemies.
See, that's freaking goth, man. That's awesome as hell. Look, and I'll kind of like try to subtly flick the rest of my like clove cigarette into like an ashtray because it's the 90s and they probably do have ashtrays around. Maybe. Hey, just like because you were wondering, I'm pretty sure Den Glanzig is gonna burn the place down.
Where is Den Glanzig?
I don't know, but he's probably dripping blood.
Oh. Hygiene problems, fires, arson, goth alliances. Oh, I don't need any of this. On the week I'm trying to quit smoking as well. I didn't notice Adrian. She storms off down the escalator, leaving you to head on towards Dracula Video. So, you arrive at Dracula Video. Let me see, who is the...
Fritz Fang.
Fritz Fang. He is a cute 17-year-old gay boy. He has a very low-cut shirt with voluminous blonde chest hair poking out of it. His ears are a little pointy. And let's see, could I get one of you, let's say, can I get Kay to roll a d6 to find out what's playing on the TV in the corner of the store?
Yeah. 4.
Okay, so you may be unhappy to see that they are showing Medieval Dead 2. It's a low-budget Visigoth student horror movie. Somebody is violently decapitated as you walk in. But Fritz Fang waves hello to you all. What do you want to do?
I think Cerberus is familiar with Fritz. I think they've like attended similar for lack of a better word, like young adult kink clubs where like people like explore that kind of stuff and affinities.
Mm-hmm.
And he like sort of flounces over to where Fritz is and is like, Fritz, I need you to help me play something. It's super dark and edgy. And he like puts the video down.
So I think Fritz says, well, who directed it?
It has no director. That's how edgy it is. It's just camera.
He begins essentially to lecture you about auteur theory and the importance of the director. It is totally pompous and unbearable. There are references to Andrew Sarris and Pauline Kael and the French, Cahiers de Cinema journal. It will take some time before he stops talking.
I'm going to lean in and I'm going to play dead because he's bored me to death. So you should finish this now.
Okay. I will come back to you because you'll roll some dice to see how playing dead plays out. But Adrian and Vermundo, are you doing anything in particular while Cerberus tries talking to Fritz?
I'm gonna take a second look at what my options are. If you've got anything, Vermundo.
Sure. Vermundo?
I'm going to... This guy gives me a bad impression, so I'm shoplifting.
What are you going to steal?
I'm going to steal whatever video has the grisliest cover on it.
Oh, nice. I remember in the 90s, I was not quite old enough to rent horror movies, but old enough to, look longingly at the covers. And I specifically remember the cover of Brain Dead, which was, it kind of had this three-dimensional sculpting on the cover. It kind of rippled with these hands extending out from the video to peel back the skin of someone's face. So that's what I'm picturing. But, yeah, let's start with... Well, sorry, I'll come back to Adrian. Is there anything in particular that you want to do?
At some point, I want to get some sort of some clothes so that I can basically disguise myself as a metalhead. I don't really know the ins and outs of metalhead fashion though, so I think I'm just going to end up in some sort of weird leather outfit. that is probably closer to something kinky than something subcultural. But I mean, there wouldn't be anything like that in the video store necessarily, unless they've got like one of those big, like, life-size figures of like a serial killer from a horror movie, and I just like start taking clothes off of him or something, and I have like a rubber machete or something.
Yeah, or I could imagine you like sort of tearing the actual videotape out of video cassettes and weaving that into some sort of like borderline fetish outfit that you think is metally.
I kind of like that. I think that sounds sensible. Yeah. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll see if I can maybe vandalize some films, maybe from some section that I'm not into. And we'll go with that.
All right. So let's start with Cerberus then. So go ahead and roll to play dead. So is the plan that this will like distract Fritz enough for someone else to get the video playing, or?
So I think it's more in like the dramatic fashion to get him to stop talking so we can move on to the next thing. We're like, so boring, life sucking, like just yeah.
Okay, we'll go ahead and roll.
An 8.
It's 2d6 plus 2. Nice. 7. So it's just barely enough. Your death is just barely enough to make Fritz stop talking about auteur theory. But I think he looks down at you a little sadly as his monologue comes to an end, and he says, "Fine, you can play your movie."
Thanks, Fritz. And I just like slide it in.
All right, it starts to play, and we'll see what you find on the tape in just a sec. But Vermundo, go ahead and roll to shoplift. Do you have a relevant skill?
I'm going to pull out my good old chisel and hammer, along with one of the runestones, and carve a quick invisibility sort of rune.
Okay. Do you want to use your once per day without rolling, or do you want to just use your make invisible skill?
Might as well use my once per day roll.
Cool. All right. So no one can see you shoplifting, so you can take that tape and really anything else that you want from anyhow.
So
nice.
I assume that I'll carve this in a corner of a store, and then go ahead and get that brain dead videotape, and then might as well snag something real quick. Say, what's another videotape that one would swipe randomly?
Adult movies. That's what the teens did.
In an adult movie, I
Nice.
don't quite. This goes over my head as a lot of modern themes, but hey, maybe I'll notice later.
Maybe there's one that has like a Visigothish theme, like I don't know, hot Vikish. I don't know. I can't think of a good title for a Visigoth adult movie of the 1990s, but I think you found one. Like, I just imagine the cast on the front cover. They're all like different genders, but they're all topless, but all wearing these very oversized helmets, quite similar to your own. Not as cool. More obviously fake and cheap.
I'm in for a surprise then.
Sure. All right, Adrian, you want to roll to see how this costume making goes?
Yeah, I've got like several copies of Kazam starring Shaquille O'Neal, and I'm just gonna like tear those apart and wrap myself up with the.
Amazing.
Yeah. So we're gonna do 2d6. I mean, this one's realistically. Well, actually, no, it's a costume roll, right?
Yeah,
so that's at
sure.
a plus. That's at a +3. Holy cow.
Nice.
Okay, that's a 9.
All right, I'm rolling. It's 5. All right, so you have outfitted yourself in a combination of videos, pieces of cardboard cutouts that are around the stores, maybe little fragments of video jackets, things like that. You do notice that Dan Glanzig is peering in through the window. He's like, still watching. But right around the time you get your costume together, you hear the videotapes change over, and the three of you get to watch the security tape that Cerberus was able to lift from Saint Sebastian's. And you see, it is from just before the fire started. And on the video, you see the four metalheads. Who are they? There's Valhalla, there's Terrorizer, there's Den Glanzig, who you've already met, and there is Dazza, the fourth metalhead. And in the video, you see they're in St. Sebastian's. Den Glanzig gets into a big fight with, it looks like Su Bin from Ace of Mace, one of the other stores in the mall. Obviously, you can't really tell from the video because it's silent what they're fighting about. But yeah, a big fight. And I mean, that's all you really get. It doesn't look like they started the fire there in particular, but that's what you can see on the tape.
Mhm.
What do you want to do? Fritz Fang sort of double takes as Adrian emerges in a completely different and somewhat improbable outfit. I think he's interested, potentially.
Oh, hey, lot of sweet rentals you got here, and I'm kind of like trying to keep a low profile, but the more I try, the more of a spotlight gets put on me.
Mm-hmm. And I think he says, those metalheads, you guys interested in them?
Like protecting the mall from them.
I think they're fine. People think they're like such badasses, so scary. That Valhalla and Dazza came in like right before the fire, and they just like browsed the comedy aisles and did Beavis and Butthead impressions the whole time.
Of course, they think Beavis and Butthead's funny.
Yeah, that's dumb.
I mean, maybe they are acting normal around you, but there's no way that they're not up to something. I mean, just look out there, and I'll kind of motion to maybe where Den Glanzig is like hiding badly behind like an Orange Julius stand or something.
Mm-hmm. And he just gives this he sort of like shrugs as if like, what? I'm just getting my Orange Julius, and quickly turns around.
I'll look back at Fritz. He's a stalker.
I bare my teeth at him.
Oh, that might draw him over. So he'll start wandering over towards.
I'm like intending to be threatening, but like.
So, what will you do?
So he starts coming over.
He's heading towards the store.
Why is he coming here? He's such a stalker. Here,
you're doing
Adrian, hold my leash so I don't like attack him again. I don't want to get kicked out of the store.
Hold your leash, like, God, it's not like that. And I will but I'll take it. And I'm kind of looking pleadingly at Vermundo, like, can you get me out of here? Or like I'll even be like, Vermundo, you hold this. Let me go talk to him, and it's up to you if you want to take me up on that.
No, I want Vermundo to hold the leash.
Sure.
And Cerberus looks so angry and pouty.
So, Adrian, are you going to confront Dan as he heads into the store?
Yeah. I think I'll just kind of walk up to him and say, and I mean, at this point, I'm like covered in like magnetic VHS tape or whatever. But Dan, would you get off our backs?
You're the ones walking around the mall asking people questions about us.
You're the one walking around with this huge ass hickey on your chest. Between the two of us, I think you've got the bigger problem.
It's not a hickey, it's a battle scar.
He'll just turn bright red, and he said, well, if I stop following you around, would you like talk to your friend for me?
Like, what, give you his number or something?
Well, I don't know. Do you think he'd want to, like, hang out a little bit?
Okay, so I'll make you a deal. I will introduce you to, or like talk to him, or something, if you can get me in with Terrorizer and Valhalla and like all the rest of your people.
What do you mean, get you in with them?
Well, like, I mean, just look at what I'm wearing. Clearly, I think you guys are. It's embarrassing to say, but I think you're kind of okay.
He does look you up and down with some, like, confusion. And he says, you want me to introduce you to Val and Ollie? And, okay. But as he says that, all three of them appear behind him as if from nowhere. And Valhalla, like, she has this cascading blonde straight hair down to her waist. She says, Den, you know we have important business today. Can't just hang around yapping with these Mall Goths.
I think at the insult from her, I think Cerberus pulls a headband out and puts it on, and it's like technically 6 ears because it's like the ears from each dog, like 3 and 3, and just like audibly growls at her.
Okay. Den will do this kind of awkward, like, reciprocal, like, slightly flirty growling, like, but the Val and Terrorizer will drag him away to end this scene, and we'll take another short break here, and then come back and see what happens next. So maybe just 5 minutes now, if that's good for everyone. Cool.
Hello again.
All right. So the metalheads have stalked off away from you. Den throwing puppy dog eyes over his shoulder at Cerberus.
It just glares back.
He does not seem to notice that you're glaring at him, just that you're making eye contact. What will you do next? You know that there was a fight between one of the metalheads and Subin from Ace of Mace. You have the whole mall at your disposal. What do you want to do?
Maybe we should like talk to Subin, and when Cerberus says that, they're like very happy, and they tug their leash out of Raimundo's hand, and like, only a Mall Goth can hold my leash. Real Goths.
I pout a little bit.
Do you need to mark a hurt feeling?
Oh yeah, good idea.
What will your hurt feeling be?
Insecure.
Aw, yeah.
I feel like I would get kind of protective almost, because I've sort of got a thing for Raimundo almost. And I'll be like, whoa, hey, look, is there anything of mine you want to hold? And I have no idea what you can interpret that any number of ways, but it's just the first thing that came to mind for me.
I give you a big look, as in a WTF. What are you talking about? Is this some modern goth thing?
I think Cerberus stamps off. Just very huffy.
Are you storming off in the direction of anywhere in particular?
Yeah, he's going to the shop. Ace of Mace.
Cool. What about you, Adrian? What do you do?
Yeah, that's. I'll go along too, but I mean, I'll kind of look over my shoulder and I'll be like, "Are you sure you're good, man?"
I'm good. I lie.
And I think what I'll do is, as we're walking over, I will pull a roll of like black duct tape and like a roll of red duct tape out of my bag, and I'll start putting together some kind of item I can give Vermundo to use my once a day move, and also see if I can maybe try to heal some of the hurt feeling stuff.
Yeah. So how does healing work? I have to look this up quickly. Does anyone recall?
I don't know that you have to roll for it, but I don't.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Like, I think you just kind of do it, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I think that's right. You just talk about your feelings a little bit, and you can erase one hurt feeling per scene. Vermundo, do you feel like that's enough to clear your hurt feeling?
Only after I receive whatever he's making, Adrian's making.
Yeah, it's tough because your abilities are all essentially supernatural, so I'm trying to think of what a suitable duct tape prop to assist with them would look like.
Duct tape wand.
I mean, I think that would be the play, yeah. And it's going to be... I'll put it this way, like, it's not going to look like a traditional, like, oaken rod that you would use in, like, actual paganism or something like that. It's basically going to be, like, a fairy wand with, like, a little star at the end of it, and I'm like, here, this is, like, I think you'd look good with it.
Ooh, impressive masterwork.
And I'll let you choose which of your 3 skills you wanted to give you a +1 to.
You're welcome to just wait. You're welcome to save that until a dramatic moment when it's useful to decide if you want.
In that case, I'll put duct tape wand. Thank you, I say to him before we enter the store.
So I think when Cerberus sees this, they encounter a hurt feeling. Which is, I think I'm going to call it third wheel. Because I think he's been trying very hard to sort of be flirty with Adrian. And he thought he was, like, getting somewhere. But then here's, like, Adrian giving this fairy wand. And then, like, talking up Vermundo. When they, like, try to pass off my leash. And they let my leash go the other time. And they thought I, like, gave another guy a hickey. And maybe I'm just, like, third wheeling here.
I think as this feeling washes over you, Dan Glanzig, who you didn't realize until just now was right behind you, says, I could hold your leash for a little while, if you'd like.
What would you, like, do with it?
What would you like me to do?
Take me, like, gerbil essence. And he, like, takes the leash and, like, defiantly hands it to Den while, like, sort of making eyes at both Vermundo and Adrian.
All right. So, Vermundo and Adrian, you can see that Cerberus is heading off towards gerbil essences with Den. Are you going to let that happen?
Vermundo, did we just get dropped?
Shruggeth. In any case, we should keep an eye on Cerberus. I don't know what maneuvers he's pulling.
And I'm just like at a loss here. Okay, fine, but I mean, at this point, we're basically spying on him, okay? If he's gonna ditch us to hang out with, I mean, I just kind of motion wildly like him, then I'm pretty much done with his bullshit. Fine, let's just go see what exactly they're up to.
So, are you going to get like a treatment at Gerbil Essences, or what's the plan? Yeah.
I think he wants to get like a mani-pedi and and just like get his like hair played with and just like be pampered because he's feeling sad and really into his like pet side, and like he just wants to feel better because he wasn't a cool anti-hero when he bit Den, and then now he's third wheeling, and he's just like, this is like self-care.
All right. So both of you are sat down like next to each other for your manicures. I think there's like this young punky boy named Bitter Herb is doing yours, and a young woman named Kelly is doing his. And as he's starting to enjoy this, I think he probably hasn't had a manicure before. I'm not sure if you have. Is this new for Cerberus?
I think Cerberus has gotten them many times. He usually goes with like a dark blue or black nail polish, like a dark purple. And he gets them done in either like a coffin shape, because cool coffin, or like a sharp kind of point, because in their like claws.
So, yeah, and I think that Dan will be like, could you do like a kind of 666 icon, like images on my nails? I think that would be really cool. And Kelly is like nodding. And he'll casually turn towards you in your chair just across from him and he'll say, how do you feel about, the devil, say?
I mean, like, the devil's cool. And
so
like,
if someone was going to burn down the mall to summon Satan, then you would be cool with that?
I mean, no, because I really like them all. But like, if someone, I don't know, wanted to like go in the woods and like do a proper like sacrifice and a bacchanal dance to summon like the devil's lust and rage, that'd be cool.
But like, you like them all more than the devil?
I think I like them equally, because I think like the devil really supports them all. So like if you tried to burn down the mall to summon the devil would be like unhappy with you, because like the devil is clearly like the mall is clearly the devil's terrain.
I think that you should roll some dice to see if you persuade Dan with this line of argument.
Okay. I don't know if any of my modifiers will help with this.
I can't really imagine that any of your allies are going to embarrass themselves at this moment to help you either.
Yeah, so I think it's just a straight roll. A 10.
Oh, that's very good. Let's see for Dan. That's a 4. So Dan is taken in. He's like, he just has this look of horrified realization. He says, "Oh no, you're right. The devil won't like it when we burn down the mall."
So you guys were planning to burn down the mall? Did you do it the first time?
We're definitely going to burn down the mall. Yes, we
did
it the first time. And tonight is Devil's Night, October 30th.
Yeah.
It's the night for the big ritual. We've got the gas, we've got the ritual book. It's all set to go. In fact, he pulls his fingers away from where they're being, nicely attended to. And he looks at his watch and he says, "I mean, I'm gonna do it in like 15 minutes."
Can you get some quick dry on my nails, please, Herbie?
I don't call you Herbie. You don't call me Herbie. All right.
Sorry. Better herb.
Thank you. And do you want to do anything to like let your former goth friends know about?
So are they like what? So I have a question. Are they watching us? Because they said they were gonna like watch us.
I feel like my nose is like squished up against the glass, like basically like breaking the cartilage on my nose. I'm just like so squished up against it, like some kind of idiot. But I mean,
I just go like this.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
So you're calling us kind of over.
Yeah, he's like, he sees you, rolls his eyes, and like calls you over.
Then it's gonna be like, do we have to tell them? Like,
yeah, because like we need numbers if we want the mall to not burn down. Also, I think Raimundo might be the only one who could like get Valhalla to not do something without their head getting crushed between her thighs like a sparrow's egg.
She does have strong thighs, it's true. So
I will kind of tap Vermundo a couple times on the helmet, and it probably makes this big cacophonous sound inside. All right, hey, we're moving in. You have your like wand or whatever, just in case anything goes south. Okay.
All right. Pulls out duct tape wand.
And yeah, go ahead.
And I even have one of my rune stones carved up just in case.
nice.
I'll walk in really casually as if I wasn't obviously trying to hide and be like, "Oh, hey, Cerberus, you're here too, huh? What's going on? Haven't seen you in a while. Anything new?"
I've seen your cuticles before. You've never stepped in here in your life. Well, like Mr. Black or whatever, and he's like not making eye contact. I was talking with my new really cool friend, Den Glanze, who's just super great, and I like lean closer like to try and like make Adrian jealous, and like sort of like it's clear that like Denzig's like got my leash like on their wrist, and my head is just kind of like now like sort of pillowed on their shoulder, and I'm just like, so apparently this fire or whatever is going to happen in 15 minutes if it's not stopped because someone misunderstood the devil's intentions, which wasn't Den. It was Valhalla and Daza. Like, definitely their fault, not Den's.
In classic teenage fashion, even though there is a clear like high priority in the form of everything getting burnt down, I'm gonna go ahead and take the hurt feeling second choice because I'm so jealous.
So if we want to stop them, we should probably go to the Darkade. That's where it's all going to go down. They're going to use the speakers to play the horrifying, infernal music of the damned. And then they're going to start the fire and chant the words. And, well, you know.
Well, if we get there first, I think we might be able to get some kind of thing set up so that we can stop them, right?
He looks at his watch again, like, yeah?
I guess if you want to like come, maybe you could. But you know, it's our thing that we're stopping them. I guess you could just be there, kind of.
I mean, it might be kind of awkward for me because I'm supposed to be kind of, summoning the devil. I don't want to...
Den! And I like
Okay.
look at him. Like, do you want the devil to be disappointed in you or not?
No.
So like, come on. And I like
All right.
blow on the quick dry and like get up. But it's like I'm also sort of awkwardly choked because I'm getting up before Den does, who's holding my leash. But I try and play it off like it's a cool thing that we're doing on purpose.
And Dan is just like a person whose dog is like pulling too far away, like trying to like run after you before his shoulder is jerked out of its socket. Vermundo, are you still just like cool with all this happening?
At this point, I'm looking for a excuse. I rigged hard to have one of my wounds. I'm looking for an excuse to use it.
Nice.
How does Vermundo feel with the person he has a crush on is like laying all over Den?
Absolutely confused. What is up with these modern goth metal people?
All right. So as you approach the Darkade, you can hear the sound of Limp Bizkit blasting over the speakers, and Dan will say, "Oh no, you hear that? The ritual's already starting."
Wait, that's your ritual music?
The most awful music in the world.
And I think I will, like, there's this pregnant pause as we, like, look at each other. If he
And look-
dares to insult Fred Durst and the rest of his people.
I look at Adrian because I know.
It is pretty terrible.
Right.
Okay. And I'll look at I think Cerberus. So what's your plan? Like, are we just gonna go in there and like clear the place out, or?
Well, I was thinking we could try several things. Like first, Den, you could go in there and just like, because Den, you're like the leader and the strongest and the best of them, because you're better than them. You're almost like a Mall Goth yourself. So like you could go in there and like tell them to stop because this isn't what the devil wants. We could try that, and then if that doesn't work, I figured maybe we could just like I could hack into the system and stop the speakers from playing the music. Or, I don't know, like maybe since you're so good with pyrotechnics, you could like safely, put it out or something if, you want to do something good because, you don't really do that. And he like is clearly just jiping at like Adrian, Mr. Black.
It's, and I'll kind of get really forlorn. It's really such a curse to be so amazing at fire, the one thing that can destroy a vampire.
Can't
like
sunlight destroy vampires?
It's like I'm closest to the one thing that can destroy me,
And if all else fails, there's some wounds. I wave around my wounded wood.
Yeah,
Well, it's-
Raimundo has runes.
And yeah, sunlight can kill vampires too, but like, I mean, if you've ever played a long-term Chronicle, it's almost always fire.
So Dan will like venture at this point, like, I can try and talk Valhalla out of it, but she can be pretty stubborn about this sort of thing. If you really want to stop them, like, yeah, you need to deal with the fire and you need to deal with the speakers, but someone needs to get the ritual book away from them. Like, if you could get that off them, then the whole plan will be over. They won't be able to try it again.
Oh, I sure have idea. Look at my rune. And
What's your idea?
Do you recognize what this is?
I mean, it looks like something I might have seen in one of like my ancient religion classes or whatever.
It grants the power of levitation.
Is the plan that you're going to like levitate over to steal the book, or that you're going to levitate the book out of her hands?
Well, I was going to fly, but it doesn't have to be me. It could be the book.
Could I suggest something, kind of in terms of the set dressing? I kind of imagine that the speakers are like mounted on some sort of girder, or they're like suspended in some way, but the point is that they're not like built into the walls necessarily, nor are they just like sitting on a counter somewhere. They're kind of overhead, and I was wondering if I might be able to use my kind of rappelling/rigging thing to try to bring the speakers down. And Vermundo, if you can levitate me up there so I can begin my work.
Nice. So then, what will Cerberus do while that's going on?
So I think Cerberus, seeing what this is happening is if they're levitating towards the speakers, then Cerberus is going to try and so he's going to try and go around to like where like the computer where I'm imagining this is all getting played from into the speaker is to hack into it to stop it.
Nice. So heading to the counter. That's cool. So I think that as you all enter the darkade, there's this like low chanting coming from now not just the four of them, but dozens of metalheads arranged around the room. And Val is just now putting the torch to the bonfire as they begin the ritual. A glowing portal begins to open as the flames rise. It's really down to the last minute to save them all. But Cerberus, why don't you go ahead and roll to see if you can hack into that computer?
All right. Oh, okay. So it's gonna be doop. 10.
Oh, nice. So I'm going to roll, but I don't like my chances. Are you going to play some other music instead, or what are you going to do exactly?
Yeah, so I think in his like hurt feelings and the way everything's going on, he's gonna play "When You Don't See Me" from the Sisters of Mercy.
Nice. All right. And Vermundo, do you want to roll to see if you successfully levitate Adrian up into the rafters? I think that as this is happening, Den is, trying to appeal to Valhalla's better instincts, or at least, worse instincts, I guess, because he's trying to convince her that this isn't really what the devil wants. So they start to, argue and remonstrate in the middle, right over the bonfire.
So I believe not only do I get +2 from levitate, but also another +1 from the duct tape.
Yeah, absolutely.
So 2d6 plus 3. Roll to levitate.
9.
9.
I will roll as well. Oh, yeah. So you really, pop Adrian up into the rafters, floating and flapping around. Adrian, you have a great view down over the darkade. You can see that the portal has stalled a little bit as the Sisters of Mercy started to play. It's not expanding anymore, but you can definitely sense the, infernal power lurking behind the portal waiting to emerge into our world.
No, go ahead, sorry.
I think from up here you probably also have access to the sprinkler system, the fire alarms, if you wanted to make use of that now that you're up high. I know that you have clove cigarettes that you could use to trigger them, if that's something that you want to try.
I was thinking, as long as there is even the slightest semblance of a portal, is there some way that I can bring down the rigging that's holding these speakers up so that at least a few speakers literally fall into hell playing goth music?
Well, I think we need to play to find out. So let's roll some dice.
Oh, what's that? Oh, that's the Twisted Sister. Sister of Mercy.
So you're using your rigging skill for this?
Yes. Yeah, this is the repelling / rigging. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna roll this at a +2. That's an 11.
All right. So can I just check then? So speakers playing Sisters of Mercy tumble into hell. Cerberus, was it a whole Sisters of Mercy playlist, or was it just a whole array of sad goth music that's going to be playing in hell for all eternity now?
It's basically sad, why don't you see me? I want you to see me kind of music.
You hear just the most pained howl from the devil on the other side of the portal. Valhalla just looks angrily at all of you and says, "No, you've ruined my plans! How dare you? You with your ridiculous oversized helmet and your weird dog friend and, I don't know, that videotape fetishist in the ceiling? What? How?"
I just want everyone to know that I am basically perched on all fours like a gargoyle, like one of those annoying vampires that, like, for whatever reason begins running about on all fours, like in the movies. So I'm basically perched like so up there looking down.
And Valhalla will just yell, "Well, fine. If I can't summon the devil, I'm gonna burn down this stupid mall anyway," and flings her torch towards a flammable pile of. Not quite sure what would be flammable in the Darkade. Oh, the tickets, right? There's this like massive bundle of tickets that's just like printed out and sitting there, and it starts to the torch is floating end over end through the air towards that pile. Can any of you stop it?
Not the tickets.
I want to get that giant inflatable axe.
Vermundo, or what are you going to do?
Is it going to be a Hail Mary? But I'm going to attempt to levitate the burning ticket pile so that it disperses and
right. So that it can't spread.
Yes.
Maybe do you like levitate it to like there's like a game section where it's like a bunch of little fish in like a pond and you have to like use like the magnetic stick to actually get them. And so like it's just like a little pond of water and you just levitate the sticks into there maybe.
Nice. So can I just suggest, because we haven't used this mechanic yet, this is going to be a crucial dice roll. Does anyone want to embarrass themselves to help Vermondo win?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
No embarrassing trait. I believe that means that your mother arrives. Is that right?
I think my mom probably does arrive, yeah.
So Ruth storms into the Darkade, sees all this going on and says, well, I'm not sure what your middle name is, but she definitely says it. She says, Herbert Goldenblatt, I knew you would gotten involved in something like this. I heard you were at the Catholic store earlier, and it's even worse than I imagined.
Roll.
Let's just play this scene out first.
Okay.
I think Cerberus just like stamps his feet and is like, you just don't understand anything, Mom. And it's not Herbert, it's Cerberus, and you don't get to say or have a view in it because, you know, whoever holds my leash is my master and it's not you. And I walk over to Den and like shove my like leash into Den's hand. And it's not Adrian. And then I like glare at Adrian.
I will vampire hiss from the rafters.
Ruth just clutches her purse a little tighter. But let's go ahead and roll, Vermundo. So that gives you +3 to your roll, as well as whatever other bonus you have.
So I rolled to levitate, and looks like 3 + 5 is an 8.
And you get like the extra +3 bonus, so that's an 11. So
I'm
gonna. Sorry, what?
I add the 2 + 3. I'm rolling +5.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you're right.
It's an 8. There was a 2 and a 1 on the die.
Okay. I misread it. All right. Let's see if the mole can do better. Oh my God! It's not gonna work. The mole is.
Oh my God!
down.
Adrian, embarrass yourself! Adrian, embarrass yourself!
We can stack them.
Save the mole.
Is there a way that I can post roll embarrass myself to up that, or are we stuck with the? Oh no! I have to reveal my love of Limp Bizkit. Oh God! How would I even like introduce this at this point?
You've just got to like jump down from the ceiling and start singing Limp Bizkit. I think. You can channel some of that infernal power that was invested in the song and the ritual to stop the fire.
Right. And so what we're trying to do basically is prevent the fire from starting.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think what I'll do is, and whether or not I have to repel it doesn't, whether I have to roll for it is fine either way, but I'll basically rappel down from the rafters and I'm going to basically switch into annoying, angsty, new metal, smash mosh kind of mode. Like, this is not at all the restrained, like, romantic era vampire that I try to portray myself as. And I think this is the moment where I basically snap and show my true colors. I'm going to start just angrily throwing stuff onto the fire that's beginning to emerge in an effort to smother it. And I'm like tossing, I'm like ripping light guns out of arcade cabinets and throwing those on. And I like took all the air hockey pucks out of the machines and I'm throwing those. Like, I'm basically vandalizing the entire place. And I'm going to do that while I yell the lyrics to the song Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit. And it will ruin my reputation undoubtedly, but desperate times, right?
Amazing.
Yeah.
So it all comes together. You have prevented the ritual, closed the portal to hell, cursed the devil to an eternity of sad goth music about unreciprocated feelings. The mall boss turns up again to ban the 3 metalheads from the mall forever, and they slink away embarrassed. And I'm going to ask each of you just to describe a short epilogue for your character. What happens, following that or in the future. Cerberus, do you want to start?
Can I have a minute to think, actually?
Sure.
We go.
Adrian, are you ready, or do you want to think about it too?
I'm trying to think here. I kind of want the epilogue actually to take place like at school that Monday. Like, I imagine this might have happened like on like a Friday or like on a Saturday because it was happening during the day. And so like Monday rolls around and it's like November 1 and everyone is kind of like worn out from being crazy all weekend over Halloween. And I think that I've kind of gotten semi-shunned both from the Goths for the Limp Bizkit thing and to a certain degree from, I mean, the metalheads never liked me to begin with, but definitely from them as well. And so I'm just kind of like sitting in the cafeteria, more or less minding my own business, trying to think of the right words to say to get the theater kids to take me back. When like a couple of skate kids who are wearing like backwards baseball caps and have really terrible like white tank tops and khaki shorts and stuff on, will come over and be like, "That was fucking awesome." What we like, and they'll talk about what they heard from back then. So we'll kind of end on that note, introducing like yet another clique into this ongoing saga.
Amazing, thank you. Vermundo, do you have an epilogue?
So even though after all of this we part ways and I go back to my Visigoth brethren, on Sunday I do go and seek out Benedict to take him up on one of his offers.
Cute. That's nice.
Have some Bible study.
Oh my god, the cat face just like right in David's camera.
It's a good cat.
That's awesome. Thank you. And Cerberus, do you want to tell us an epilogue?
So I think, it's sort of two-pronged. You have like Cerberus is sitting at the Goth table, the Mall Goth table, but now he's got like Den with him. And Den has like joined the Mall Goths and is holding Cerberus' leash. But like Cerberus is like half paying attention, looking to like the skater bros talking to Adrian. And then it flashes to the next day at the mall. And you see Vermundo chatting with Benedict as Cerberus walks into the confessional booth. And goes to the priest and he's like, "So I've heard there's another thing, and maybe you can explain it to me because like you're an old wise ghost. I've heard about this thing called polyamory." The priest screaming. How does like thruples work?
I think we hear like the studio audience laugh as the credits roll. Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. So I would like to finish up with, so Stars and Wishes. So stars being something you enjoyed in the session, wishes being a hope or something that you would have liked to be different. Wishes don't tend to apply so much in one shots. So if you do have a wish, you're welcome to share it, but it's fine if you don't. Let's just go left to right across the keeper, if that's okay. So, Kay, do you want to give us a star or wish?
Yeah, no, I think it was just very funny. I think everyone sort of especially inhabited, I felt shot back to what would have been the early 2000s for me, because I'm a little too young to have been active in the 90s in that sense, but there were still, goths and such going on. So it really had a lot of those vibes and a lot of those moments. I thought that was very cute, and just the way teenagers think. It was very well played. Adrian, I think, was very thought out. I don't know if this was on purpose or not, but I'm a big fan of Not Another D&D Podcast. And there's a literal Mall Goth character in, sorry, not Napod, but Dimension 20. And in Dimension 20's season 2 of their D&D game set in New York City, where it's magic, but in the regular world, there is a literal Mall Goth named Cody. And so that, it seems like it was an accident, but that still, tickled me pink, and I absolutely loved it.
I just found the name Cody because I went to Google and typed in, whitest sounding names, and that was what came up. It was either going to be Cody or Caleb, I had decided, or Tanner, but I went with Cody.
They're pretty, yeah, and so that was just, even accidentally, was very funny for me. And then I love the helmet is too big for his head. I think it's just the dumbest, cutest thing. And then, yeah, I think all of the characters were really great in their little interactions with the NPCs. I love the fact that our tie led to Den being into the fact that he got bitten when my character was trying to be a defense dog. And just the very teenager, I like them, but they like me, but they don't like me, but I like them, but they're jealous. It was just very Monster Hearty in a way that I really enjoyed. If I had to do one, I guess, wish, I really thought this is I'm nobody, but I really thought the Valentine's Day dance original idea that we ended up not being able to go through with people was really cute. And I'd love to be able to play that sometime, which is, I guess, sort of my only wish, because that seems like a very cute plot, and it'd be fun to play the game in a more traditional sense.
Yeah, that would be cool. Thanks. David, do you want to give some stars or wishes?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of wishes, I don't really have any. It was my first time playing, and I had a lovely time, so I thought it was great. The vibe of the game for me was sort of like Monster Hearts if it didn't take itself so seriously. Is kind of the sense that I got from it, and I thought that it was lovely, a really nice kind of fun sort of goofy way to blow off steam. The things that I especially liked, Kay, you absolutely stole the show anytime you interacted with the priest, and anytime you interacted with Den. In terms of just interacting with NPCs, you pretty much just took it and ran with it so effectively. Asking him about polyamory at the end is so perfect. This Jewish Mall Goth terrorizing a poor priest. Actually, stars to Shane too for putting a confessional booth in a bookstore. That why is that there? It's just so goofy.
I have to give credit to the game designer Lucian Khan for that. That was right from the book.
I really, really liked that detail. And I mean, just all the different NPCs that you ran, especially Den, I thought was just hilarious. And I mean, Shane, you had so many just good quotes that I put in the chat. My favorite was, "Are you continuing to interrogate the priest about Shibari?" What in the world? Chi, actually my favorite interaction with Chi was the blossoming romance with Benedict at the Catholic. I mean, the Catholic store in general was just such a great scene. But just the idea of your fingers teasingly stroking the cover of a Bible is so just offensive in so many ways. It was great. So super irreverent. just offensive gaming. It was good family fun, something for kids,
Good.
grandma, everybody.
Family fun with our priest Jabari and our kink clubs and nipple bites.
Oh my lord.
Thanks, David. Chi, do you have any stars or wishes?
So my wish is that I wish we had a fourth player character just so we could have two Visigoths and two Mall Goths, but I did like it showing how you adjust the themes to change the scenario to make something where we have typical rivals banding together to save the mall. And overall, one of my stars is just how we managed to make this love triangle where none of it is reciprocated, and the end is still not reciprocated because we all found different people. And also the resulting hurt feelings, how they tend to snowball in a way that I've seen happen in not only Monster Hearts but also Mask. That is fun when you have hurt feelings and then you deal with them and then someone else gets hurt. So I like how we all had that dynamic and it worked out. Especially with us banding together with our powers combined.
Yeah. It really adds a strong human element because a lot of times when hurt people. And so I think that was like somewhat beautiful in this weird irreverent game that like we could sort of explore that or see that going about how well like, okay, so, you know, you were trying to help heal Vermundo, but then Cerberus got upset, and then Cerberus being upset, Cerberus hurt Adrian. And like, yeah, it's just very, very, cyclical and also very evident of like the teenage condition.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite quote from the game was when Chi describing Vermundo's like feelings said, "I'm good, I lie." I just thought that was really, really funny, really smart. So yeah, thank you all. I had an awesome time. I really liked this game. It was really fun to play with you all. I loved the Vampire the Masquerade references, none of which I understood in the slightest. I just had a really good time. I loved role-playing the shocked priest. That was really fun. It was just a good time. I'm going to end the recording.